ABC January 3rd.
Special Agent Will Trent, Judge of your investigation.
I told him I'd bring my best. Will sees things that no one else does.
Based on the New York Times best-selling series.
But why Will Trent?
He's good police, and he's objectively hot.
See crime.
Put out an Amber Alert. There's a kidnapping.
Through his eyes.
He read that crime scene like it was a book.
Ramon Rodriguez is
I'm a pretty observant guy.
Will Trent. Series premiere Tuesday, January 3rd on ABC and stream on Hulu.
This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 1603. How to Deal with an Angry Person When You're an HSP, by Ilse Sand of HighlySensitiveRefuge.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to ORD with me, your host and narrator, Greg Audino. I am welcoming you for the 1000th time, actually. That's right. It's been a while since I've taken over here on the show. 1000 episodes exactly. And since at the time we were at 5 days a week, it's almost 3 years to the day, too. 3 years and 2 days, to be specific. So, some nice milestones for me. Feeling particularly privileged, as always, to be here with you all. Thank you so much for the support over the years, both here and on Optimal Living Advice. Now, let's keep on trucking as we enter into another great post and continue optimizing your life. How to Deal with an Angry Person When You're a Highly Sensitive Person, by Ilse Sand with HighlySensitiveRefuge.com. Sensitive souls are typically not keen on anger. Anger is a powerful energy. When people blow a fuse, they tend to become very black and white in their thinking and lose their ability to empathize with others. These are not behaviors we appreciate, neither in ourselves nor in others. For some people, having a quick row feels refreshing, but for the highly sensitive person, it can take a real toll and throw your nervous system off balance. Afterwards, you may need a lot of time to regroup and rebalance yourself. If you're a highly sensitive person, HSP, you probably haven't had many good experiences with anger. Not only because of your own strong emotions, but because you feel the emotions of other people. If you hurt someone, you feel their pain too, and you'll find it hard to ignore this. As a sensitive soul, you may even feel as if you keep losing arguments. Take this example. Quote, I have often thought of myself as weak because I am often the one who ends up backing down from an argument without getting my point across. End quote. But it doesn't have to be this way. You have the right to get your needs met too. Your calmness can defeat anger. While highly sensitive people can seem to lose out in quick and heated discussions, we can actually deal very well with disagreements when we take our time. You may go quiet and withdraw when you encounter sudden anger. That's okay. After a couple of hours or days, you can come back and articulate your thoughts and feelings and let people know what you will and will not put up with. This strategy works with our desire to make the world a place worth living, and our desire to avoid angry altercations. In my work as a therapist, I have spoken to many people who find anger difficult. They have been told, often by other therapists, that they need to assert themselves right away. But when I explore this with my highly sensitive clients, it often turns out that they have a very different strategy. Here's an example. Quote, I was part of a support team at a bank. My job was to approve credit agreements which somebody else had written up. It often happened that those who wrote the agreements handed them to me at 3 p.m. and wanted them approved the same day because they had promised the customers a quick response. This was very frustrating for me because I had to work late. I had to find a solution to this because I was getting very stressed. I had raised the issue without success, and since I am not very comfortable with getting angry and shouting, I chose another strategy. At a morning meeting, I announced that in the future, whenever somebody handed me an urgent case around closing time, they would have to decide which of my other cases I would have to stop working on, because I wanted to leave work on time. This made a big difference. My colleagues approved of the idea, and the number of urgent cases dropped dramatically. End quote. To calmly say no, or I don't want to do this, or this is not okay with me, often works much better than loudly expressed anger. And when it does not work, you can explain the consequences in the way Jit did in that example. It's not healthy for sensitive souls to be a part of tense and angry fights. Being involved in a heated debate can be very overstimulating, and as soon as we become overstimulated and overwhelmed, we become powerless and not constructive. Our connection with ourselves is disrupted, and without this connection, We are like a ship lost at sea. If you're sensitive, it's okay to withdraw from the conflict and find enough calm to reestablish your feelings of love towards yourself and the other person. It will help in the long run. Empathy is your greatest tool against anger. Your ability to empathize can pierce through anger, and you can do a lot with it. Often, anger is a layer of protection, and underneath it, there may be other and more vulnerable emotions. Highly sensitive people are good at sensing these underlying feelings, and it is possible to put this to good use. If you can connect with those vulnerable feelings, it can shift the energy and create more space for healing. This goes for your own anger as well. Use your ability to empathize to find out what your secret unmet need is. It might be something you can ask for, something that's much less charged than the topic of the argument. You can also help the other person connect with what they need and thereby diminish the anger. You could ask, "What is it that you would like me or someone else to give you right now?" It's useful to express our wishes and needs, even when it turns out to be something the other person can't give us. It brings us a healthier sense of what our vulnerabilities and needs are, and shows us the other person may understand and respect them more than we thought. Ultimately, this creates a way out of anger for both parties, but it also creates deeper, more satisfying connections with others. That kind of connection can outlast any argument and bring the focus back to what matters. You just listened to the post titled, "How to Deal with an Angry Person When You're a Highly Sensitive Person" by Ilse Sand with HighlySensitiveRefuge.com. And a big thanks to Ilse for her great post out of Highly Sensitive Refuge today. And whether you're an HSP or not, what I liked about this article is that it's a wonderful read for arguing more efficiently and more mindfully, which, needless to say, the world could probably use a bit more of. Disagreements are a part of life, and while we want to welcome and hear out the opinions of others, it can be hard to do so when they are conflicting with our own needs or make us feel as though our needs are being threatened. And as Ilse notes, this is handled best when we take an approach that's based in thoughtfulness rather than aggression and screaming. Surely this can be hard to do at times depending on how we're being triggered. So, all the more reason to take the time to learn about those triggers, learn about what conflict has meant to us and how it's impacted us over time, and do the self-work necessary that helps us show up better for ourselves and our loved ones. All of this instead of throwing pans across the kitchen. So, thanks a lot for listening today, everyone. It's time to get going, but I thank you as always for being here and listening until the end. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.